Second great vow. On the 1 o'clock line of beloved Saint Germain, God love. I vow that when I attain enlightenment in a future age, my body will be like lapis lazuli within and without, bright with penetrating and flawless purity. The radiance will be of great merit and will be imposing. Indeed, my body will be an excellent and tranquil dwelling, adorned with an aureole-like glowing net, surpassing the sun and moon in its radiance. I will show the dawn to those beings who are completely concealed in darkness, so that they may act in accordance with their desired paths. The fourth great vow, the 3 o'clock line of beloved Helios, the flame of God control. I vow that when I attain enlightenment in a future age, if there are sentient beings who tread upon heretical paths, I will cause them all to peacefully abide within the path of enlightenment. If there are those who are adherents of the Shravaka or Pratyeka Buddha vehicles, they will all become securely established in the great vehicle, Mahayana. Thus, by the power of the Buddha and the Enlightened One, Lord Lanto, we give his prayer, number 2019, to confirm our vow to liberate souls seeking the path of enlightenment from false teachings and false teachers. Please be seated. The fifth great vow on the 4 o'clock line of the beloved God obedience and the flame of God obedience. I vow that when I attain enlightenment in a future age, if there are limitless and boundless sentient beings who cultivate and practice the pure conduct of my teaching, I will cause them all to be able to follow perfectly the rules of conduct and be complete in the 3 cumulative precepts. Those who slander and offend will, after hearing my name, I am that I am, Sanat Kumara, be able once again to attain purity, and they will not sink to a woeful existence. This great vow we affirm that we take by giving the wondrous covenant of the Magi by beloved El Moria, number 30.08. we understand that the rules of conduct for the bodhisattvas are translated into a vow of love and of oneness with the sun. From the covenant of the Magi, there must proceed the image of Christ manifest in us, whose conduct is always godly, loving, wise, and determined. The sixth great vow on the 5 o'clock line of beloved El Moria and the flame of God wisdom. Hear the great wisdom of this 5 o'clock line of the hierarchy of the sun. I vow that when I attain enlightenment in a future age, if there are sentient beings whose bodies are inferior, whose sense organs are impaired, who are ugly, stupid, deaf, blind, mute, bent, and lame, hunchbacked, leprous, convulsive, insane, or who have all sorts of diseases and sufferings, such beings, when they hear my name, I am that I am Sanat Kumara, shall obtain proper appearances and practical intelligence. All their senses will become perfect, and they shall have neither sickness nor suffering. This is the vow to be the burden bearer, to bear world karma, and to do so one needs the great enlightenment, the power of the heart flame that can take into itself this karma and transmute it if it is the will of God. And therefore, in order to fulfill this vow, we will need a mighty, mighty momentum of the violet flame. Let us give more violet fire by beloved Hilarion 5.02. Seventh great vow on the 6 o'clock line of beloved Serapis Bey, beloved God Harmony, and the flame of God Harmony and of the Mother. I vow that when I attain enlightenment in a future age, if there are any sentient beings who are ill and oppressed, who have nowhere to go and nothing to return to, who have neither doctor nor medicine, neither relatives nor immediate family, who are destitute and whose sufferings are acute, as soon as my name, I am that I am Sanat Kumara, passes through their ears, they will be cured of all their diseases, and they will be peaceful and joyous in body and mind. They will have plentiful families and property, and they will personally experience the supreme enlightenment. The healing of the absence of wholeness in this base of the chakra line, the 6 o'clock line, the healing of the foundation of life itself, the healing of the fount of the mother flame. Number 5001, the flame of healing. The eighth great vow, taken on the 7 o'clock line of the Goddess of Liberty, God Gratitude, and the seat of the soul chakra, which is in polarity with the 1 o'clock line of Saint Germain, God Love, in which we did the blue lightning is thy love. We are on the second half of the cosmic clock now, the Omega return, whose thrust begins to mount on the 6 o'clock line with the flame of healing. Now we anchor in our seat of the soul chakra, the blue lightning is thy love, already given, with the fiat that we are going to give with this vow. It is 60.07, 33 fiats of the light. Another wonderful call by our beloved El Moria. Now you may be amused at this vow and somewhat skeptical about taking it until you hear the teaching on the subject. Eighth great vow. I vow that when I attain enlightenment in a future age, if there are any women who suffer from any of the 100 woes that befall women, who are wearied at the end of their lives and wish to abandon their female form, when these women hear my name, I am that I am, Sanat Kumara, they all will obtain transformation in rebirth from female into male physical forms. They all will personally experience the supreme enlightenment. We understand that this vow was made in an age of great darkness, when darkness covered over the mother light, during the age of the suppression of the mother flame of Mu. The betrayal of that flame, which we know resulted in the mother of the world leaving planet Earth and no longer making her abode here. During the period of her absence, then, woman became inferior to man. Our vow is made on behalf of the soul, which is the feminine being of us all. On behalf of those souls who in their feminine being as souls have been suppressed and put down by the great, great burden of the antithesis of the true man-child, or the true Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, which were the Nephilim gods, the watchers, and the fallen angels. These fallen ones have intimidated and condemned the souls of men and women for eons. We vow then that the soul itself will once again gain preeminence by the great spirit of the I Am Presence, which is, in divine polarity, the masculine element of being. And so when we understand the teaching of God the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit as the plus polarity of being, we realize that in the sense of the divine husband, the spiritual presence of the divine Son, the divine man, is preeminent over the soul that is feminine in each one of us, until the soul regains that co-equality by uniting with the Christ of the heart in the alchemical union. When the soul in you has reunited with Christ, then we understand in the law of the Trinity, which is the equilateral triangle, the great teaching, Christian Orthodox teaching of the Trinity, is that the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are co-equal components of being, co-equal flames, a Trinity in one. And therefore we see that when the soul embodies the Word incarnate is the mother balance to the Divine Father. And so our vow is to restore the souls to the original divine estate and to deliver them from the oppression of the antithesis of the sons and daughters of God. This we shall accomplish in the here and now through these fiats of beloved El Moria. The ninth great vow is given on the 8 o'clock line of Lord Lanto, of beloved Portia, the flame of God justice. I vow that when I attain to enlightenment in a future age, I will cause all sentient beings to escape from Mara's net. The net of Mara, figured as the feminine incarnation of the devil, is injustice and the astral plane, the entire record of human creation that is always unjust. And so this 8 o'clock line is a vow to free all sentient beings from the net of illusion, of astral substance spun around the souls of light by the anti-mother or the great whore. They will be freed from the fetters of all deviant paths. If there are those who have sunk into various negative views, as dense as a jungle, I will embrace them and establish them in correct views. I will gradually cause them to cultivate and study all the bodhisattva practices. This study is the line of illumination, the cosmic cross of illumination, the 28511. And they will soon personally experience the supreme enlightenment. The wondrous action of the great universal mother called the Maha Kali is, as you very well know, the action of the cosmic circle and sword of blue flame of the Elohim Astrea. And so for our vow for the deliverance of evolutions from deviant paths and Mara's net, we will give 1014. This, as you know, is the sealing of the solar plexus in polarity with the 2 o'clock line. The 2 o'clock line of God mastery of Jesus through the water chakra. This, therefore, by clearing Mara's net and the deviant paths, enables us to live and be and hold in our auras the abundant life. We cannot magnetize the abundant life of every good and perfect gift of God who is the God of gold, while we are beset with the vibrations of injustice or the sense of injustice in our worlds. And so we find that just at the moment when we are determined to precipitate our great pyramid and the abundance of wisdom, love, power, light, and all the virtues and the supply we need, we feel intense projections of a sense of injustice, or loved ones around us develop a sense of injustice, to create not the cloud of infinite energy of Saint Germain, but a darkness, a dark cloud of that sense of injustice. So, anxiety and the anxiety syndrome, which Saint Germain has taught us is a deterrent to the divine alchemy, comes with this planetary momentum of the sense of injustice. And we know there are individuals all over the world today who have a sense of injustice about this teaching, this teacher, and your path. And they have a sense of injustice about their own position in life. So momentums of injustice are rampant. And with Astrea, there's a tremendous cutting action of that circle of blue flame. I was watching that circle of blue flame today with a tremendous cutting action, just like a buzz saw, just like a cut-out saw that cuts right through the astral plane. And I was reminded of an old drawing that was done in a pamphlet we used to distribute, The Overcoming of Fear. Let's see, it was How to Decree Effectively, not The Overcoming of Fear. How to Decree Effectively. And I thought to myself, what a tremendous thing it is that there is this aspect to Astrea's circle of blue flame, which takes on many forms. But when it gets into the very dense astral plane, it does cut through. You can feel the blade as sharp as a saw itself that is physical and sharper. And it cuts through tremendous density, demons and discarnates. It's a tremendous assistance to the chelas to have this, and without it, we could not fulfill this 9th great vow. The 10th great vow on the 9 o'clock line of the heart chakra, in polarity with the 3 o'clock line of the heart chakra, the cross of blue flame on the cosmic clock, where we gave Lord Lanto's prayer for the heart. We now anchor that with light's protection for the heart chakra. It is most important that we realize exactly what it is to protect the heart. Our hearts are under the assault of darkness, viciousness, and evil on the planet. The guarding of the heart is the necessary prerequisite, beloved El Moria teaches. Beloved El Moria teaches us to advancement on the path. So we will be given 10.01, the 9 o'clock line, the line of mighty victory, of God reality, the 10th great vow. I vow that when I attain enlightenment in a future age, if according to that which is recorded in the king's laws, there are any sentient beings who are bound and whipped, tied up and thrown into prison, or who will be subjected to capital punishment, and to whom boundlessly catastrophic difficulties occur that are humiliating, grievous, and distressing, their bodies and minds suffering these bitternesses. If such persons hear my name, I am that I am Sanat Kumara, due to the awesome spiritual force of my auspicious virtues, they will be freed from all sorrows and sufferings. I trust that you will realize that the future age contemplated by the Buddha who took this vow is upon us, and therefore each future tense of verb must be translated into the present. We cannot wait to a future age to expand this golden flame of the Buddha in our hearts, because in this very moment, as he foresaw when he took this vow. There are individuals in places of incarceration, in Soviet prison camps, in hospitals, and there are people all over the world in every nation that are somehow bound against their will, against their freedom, against their light. And so this vow we must take for the protection of their hearts, that their hearts might be sealed as the center point of the great central sun of the Buddhic presence. For the magnet of the heart will magnetize within them this wonderful crystal Buddha, the image of God. And when that heart is there, holding that Buddha, they will magnetize the divinity that will set them free. We call then for the protection of their hearts in the name of the Buddha. We call for the expansion of our light that we might set them free. The 11th great vow is the open door to the mastery of the Buddha on the 10 o'clock line, the line of the all-seeing eye of God, the third eye chakra, in polarity with the 4 o'clock line and the 5th great vow, which we sealed with the covenant of the Magi, the sealing of the eye of God in the one-pointed vision of this order of the Magi. And remember the order of the Good Samaritan, of which El Morya also is head. And so this 11th great vow, the line of cyclopeia and God vision, which consumes excessive self-concern, requires healing, the healing emerald light, which we receive through the balm of Gilead 7.09a. 11th great vow. I vow that when I attain enlightenment in a future age, here and now, if there are any sentient beings who are tormented by hunger and thirst, and who create bad karma in their desperate search for sustenance, if they hear my name, I am that I am, Sanat Kumara, and firmly retain it in their minds and hold to it, then I will provide them first with incomparably marvelous food and drink to fully satisfy their bodies. Afterwards, through providing them with this taste of the teaching, they will ultimately become peaceful and joyous and well established in it. As above, so below, the Buddha in you is the nourisher of life. We claim the name I am that I am, Sanat Kumara. We wear the name of our Guru until we receive our own inner name. His sacred name is our sacred name. As above, so below, I am that I am, Sanat Kumara. And so to the entire lineage of the Buddhas, from the Buddha of our heart to the Buddha of the great central sun, we pronounce the Om. us give the preamble together.
In the name of the beloved, mighty, victorious presence of God, I am in me, my very own beloved Holy Christ selves of all mankind, beloved Lord Maitreya, beloved Mahachohan, beloved Jesus the Christ, beloved Mother Mary, beloved Goddess of Peace, beloved Hilarion, beloved Kuthumi, beloved Linella, the entire spirit of the great white brotherhood and the world mother, element of life, fire, air, water, and earth, I decree. O love of God, immortal love, enfold all in thy ray. Send compassion from above to raise them all today. In the fullness of thy power, shed thy glorious beams upon the earth and all thereon where life in shadow seems. Let the light of God blaze forth to cut men free from pain. Raise them up and clothe them, God, with thy mighty I am name. O love of God, immortal love, enfold all in thy ray. Send compassion from above to raise them all today. In the fullness of thy power, shed thy glorious beams upon the earth and all thereon where life in shadow seems. Let the light of God blaze forth to cut men free from pain. Raise them up and clothe them, God, with thy mighty I am name. O love of God, immortal love, enfold all in thy ray. Send compassion from above to raise them all today. Shed thy glorious beams upon the earth and all thereon where life in shadow seems. Let the light of God blaze forth to cut men free from pain. Raise them up and clothe them, God, with thy mighty I am name. O love of God, immortal love, enfold all in thy ray. Send compassion from above to raise them all today. In the fullness of thy power, shed thy glorious beams upon the earth and all thereon where life in shadow seems. Let the light of God blaze forth to cut men free from pain. Raise them up and clothe them, God, with thy mighty I am name. And in full faith that comes to accept this manifest. And in full faith that comes to accept this manifest. And in full faith that comes to accept this manifest. Right here and now, with full power, eternally sustained, all powerfully active, ever expanding in world and full, till all are wholly ascended in the light and free. Beloved I am, beloved I am, beloved I am.
The 12th great vow, which we affirm on the 11 o'clock line, of our God victory under the great Buddha, Lord Maitreya, is the victory of the heart. It is our I am the light of the heart, fiat. The 11 o'clock line is in polarity with the 5, representing the throat chakra. On the 5 o'clock line, we confirmed our vow with a violet flame for the throat chakra and the fulfillment of the divine will. Here we anchor that light with Saint Germain's mantra. The 12th great vow. I vow that when I attain enlightenment in a future age, here and now, in Aquarius, if there are any sentient beings who are poor and having no clothing, are annoyed and irritated through the day and night by flies and mosquitoes, heat and cold, if they hear my name and firmly retain it in their minds and hold to it in accordance with their wishes, they will obtain all sorts of superior and marvelous clothing. They will also obtain every precious adornment, garlands, powder, incense, music, and the enjoyment of various performing arts. I shall cause them to have in abundance whatever their hearts desire. The heart's expression and fulfillment on the 12 lines of the clock radiating from that central sun is in the culture of the Divine Mother, 12 major fields of endeavor introduced to humanity by the mighty archangels. And so our I am the light of the heart mantra is the expansion of the light of the Buddha to radiate out this fulfillment of the cultivation of light.